great to see Alex so excited about these new members. And even though there are only a few, it feels like a big deal. That's a few people in a short time span researching and choosing Judaism in Ghana. Maybe I'm overblowing it, but I needed to know if there was something bigger at play here.
In a larger sense, what's happening in Ghana is the development of increasingly close links between all of these communities. All of these groups in Africa are in connection with each other, and of course the thing snowballs. And that's what's happening at the moment in Cameroon, in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Uganda, of course, in South Africa, and Zimbabwe. You have a development, a very, very major development of Jewish communities, which numbers by now millions and millions and millions of people, at least in the sense that they identify as Jews or as Israelites.
With returning groups, people who have identities of lost tribes, making a choice of their faith. People who are disenchanted with their old faiths and say, oh wow, we found it now.
Really happy. So when you follow in the Bible, you see, you want people who follow Moses, because the commandment was given to Moses. So I went to follow those people who use the law of Moses.
It was important for me to know there are different African countries that Jewish people are also living there. I think we were here alone, but now we are all coming together as one people.
Judaism never forced themselves on any other religion since the creation of the world. Others have done it. So Judaism is different when it comes to, they don't impose themselves, force people to believe in what they believe in. They want God himself to bring people in it.
Thinking of millions of people across this continent choosing Judaism, that's not just surprising, that's kind of inspiring to me. But millions of people choosing how they do Judaism, that brings me back to the question of boundaries. Because while some of these groups are long established and some have been working to fit into recognized communities, others aren't. Others are defining Judaism in their own way, even combining it with other religions. Does the Jewish identity need those boundaries to survive? Or are those boundaries just getting in the way?
It seems to me there's a certain irony that in so much of the Western Jewish world, there's all of this anxiety, right, about numbers and assimilation and anti-Semitism and how are we going to survive? And then you have either individuals or communities saying, hey, we associate ourselves with this and we're connected with this and we want to be a part of this. It seems to me bizarre to think that one would want to close a door rather than say, hey, come on in, let's talk.
What I try to create is what I call big tent Judaism. We're not tight on the boundaries like denominational lines. If there is an element of yes, we want to be part of this, yes, this belongs to us, I'm willing to deal with them as long as they decided they're leaving their old faith.
Although Judaism is not meant for only people with a birthright as Israel, but anybody can enter into Judaism as a religion. And why Israel was said to be the light of nations. There's a light in the room, it lights for others to see.
We rarely say no to people, but we're not looking to try and make more Jews. It's trying to take, the people who are already part of the Jewish nation and try and, strengthen their beliefs, strengthen their affiliation. We're not looking to have big numbers. That's not necessary. That's been our experience for the last 3,500 years, that we are small people, and we've spread out all over the world, and yet somehow we managed to survive.
Jews have two very different reactions when it comes to setting boundaries in Judaism. Either there are these overly flexible, overly fluid boundaries, or there are these rigid boundaries, and they overly judge people that don't fall into those, and there needs to be a middle ground, because boundaries are necessary. Otherwise, everything would be everything.
Without those boundaries, belonging wouldn't really even mean anything.
It wouldn't.
Even though new members have joined, I noticed that lately, attendance at synagogue isn't what it used to be since I started following the Sefwis 2 years ago. We were talking just a little bit earlier about some of the changes that have happened in the community from the last time I visited.
Our community was very big, but now it's like, it seems it's less in number. So I don't know where those people are.
Is it just because of school and work and stuff?
I just don't know. I just don't know. I feel even shy to say that I'm a Jew when we be at the synagogue and you find maybe 5 or 3 people there. You see, sometimes it's really pains me.
Stephen himself might soon be struggling to stay active in the community because he just got accepted into nursing school. I also find out that Rahel, she got accepted into a school in Accra, which is great for her. But I think it's hard on Alex to lose one of his best students. So I check in with him to see how things are going, and it looks like they're not progressing quite as much as he had hoped.
Last 2 years when you came, I was in the process of converting this community. I'm still working on, but I have not succeeded as at now.
Why do you need to convert? Why can't you just be Jewish as you are?
I feel like I'm now in the group. I want my people also to be part of that group as a Jewish people living together as one family.
Does it give you a sense of belonging?
Yes. And you know, nobody is forcing you to be a Jew. It must come from your heart, your own free will to be a Jew. Conversion started from our ancestral roots. She left her home, her family, and followed Naomi. She became part of Judaism because through her, our ancestor David came from. It was from the heart of root that I want to be part of Judaism.
Where do you want your community to end up in terms of that Jewish spectrum?
I want to lift them up to Orthodox stage. But we will do all our best to push forward. I'm reading about tonight and tomorrow's parasha. This portion is Exodus chapter 13, verse 17. It continues the redemption of the children of Israel. Right now, it's leading us to where they approach the Red Sea. Because there are many obstacles in our life now, which we can take us the Red Sea. Each tribe is struggling. Who is to step in first? Moses was there praying to God that God should redeem the children of Israel from the hands of the enemy. And God told him, why are you praying to me? Step in, step forward, go ahead. God helps those who help themselves. We know that. Those are Jewish values. So this Torah portion is telling me not to sit down complaining to God. He has given me the knowledge, He has given me the strength, He has given me the life and the ability. So I will ask Him to enable me to do something which will benefit people who are surrounding me, not me alone.
I'm on a walk with Alex and Ebenezer when Alex shares some interesting news. He says the Sefwis have been contacted by a community that's popped up in Accra who are claiming to be Jewish.
They can be Jewish if they convert from Christianity and become Jewish. But right now, their position, I will not give the percentage to them that they are Jewish. They don't even know they're supposed to have a kosher one. So they use the ordinary one. I discussed with the leader and I think he will change things. But he told me to come and spend Shabbat with them and see how they worshiped. So I don't know the time that I can go back and be with them and see. And I'm not the person who is going to declare that these people are Jewish. But for me, what I can do is maybe to try to teach them some things that can lead them to Jewish life.
I'm back home and I keep in touch with some of the community members. And then I'm surprised by this text from Stephen.